Hey guys, welcome back here to my desk. Thank you so much for joining me. I think it's been a while since I've done a video, maybe about 2 weeks. So let's pick back up here with some more Transformers stuff. This is third party, nothing official. So this is MMC's PS-25 Navigant. Essentially, this is Streetwise from the Protectobots, and this is part of their all built-in series. So at some point, we're gonna get all 5 members and be able to form up Defensor. So that's really cool. I do have the Combaticons, and I have the whole set already built in, so I'm certainly looking forward to be able to get all these guys in hand. But today, as you guys can see, they call him Navigant. We're going to call him Streetwise. I've already had a chance to take this guy out of the box. Pretty cool figure. I love it, when these third-party companies, especially MMC, they do such a great job with these characters that for the most part, I don't think Takara or Hasbro, at least any time soon, will do a masterpiece style toy of a combiner. But anyway, there's a box. That's the front. Here's the side. Here's the other side, which shows, this figure along with the previously released figure, which I also have, and then the rest of the other members. Of course, here he is in his various transformation phases. You do get a tech spec, I guess, and a little bit about the character there. So pretty cool stuff. I don't keep my packaging, so unfortunately, as nice as this is, this will end up going in the trash, but it's really nice. Something you want to keep on your shelf. Inside of the box, you get a couple of things. You get the card here, which is essentially, again, his background, his stats there. So this guy seems to be pretty high up there in courage and intelligence. He's got a 9. I'm assuming that's a 9 out of 10. So yeah, you can pause it and read that. PS-25 Navigant. This guy's been out for a while. So, I've had him for a while. It's just that I just kind of got around to playing around with him. Another thing you get in the box is this cool little thing, which essentially it's supposed to mimic what you used to get with the older G1 toys, where you're supposed to then clearly see the specs in the back. I mean, you could kind of see them without this red thing, but hey, that's something you could do. You get his gun, which he can hold very well in his hand. It's all one piece of plastic, except for the handle here. It does fold in, I'm assuming, for better storage. A little plain looking, but hey, I don't mind it. A gun. It's got some okay detailing, but nothing too crazy. But hey, it's a gun. As long as he can hold it and it looks okay, I'm fine with it. Other cool stuff you get in the box is he does get alternate heads. So the first one being this angry one, where he's kind of upset and gritting or grinding his teeth. But it's really cool. I love the detail there on the head. The sort of like sunglass eyes that he has. And really cool. And you can pop this out and pop it back in. And then you also get this other head, which he looks like he's kind of smirking or smiling. I will probably use this head as opposed to this the angry one, but hey, it's an option. You do get these 2 extra heads. Okay, so on to the figure. There you guys see Streetwise in all his glory. Pretty cool figure. Based on first looks alone, he fits in really well with the other one, which is First Aid in the line. But as a toy itself, it's pretty cool. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, you do, in addition to the 2 heads that you get with this guy, he comes with this one, which is a pretty neutral, I would say, expression. But again, same detailing as in the other heads. So fits in pretty well. I do like this one. I may opt to keep this one instead. As far as the body itself, this is pretty much G1 accurate. The only thing this is lacking, considering it's third party, it's the obviously logos. So you are not going to get any Autobot symbols. You can get any additional like stickers. There's plenty of places online that sell stickers that you can use on this guy. But other than that, this is pretty much Streetwise. Pretty close to what was shown in the cartoon, design-wise. And he does, they've done MMC, I think, as always. Same thing with first aid and the combaticons. They've done a great job. Now he can come off a little plain looking because there's not a lot of detailing. Like a lot of the surfaces are pretty flat, but I don't mind that. Again, it's very cartoon accurate there, so pretty cool. As far as the articulation, you do get the shoulder here. You can turn it fully around. It looks a little weird. That's part of the transformation, so I don't see why you would need to do that, but it can do that. You can turn this around here. He's got elbow, so you can fully do that. The hands are articulated, so you can again turn them around if you so wish. And the fingers here are individually articulated. They're kind of just stuck like this though, so just something to keep in mind, but it doesn't detract from the figure at all. So the head, he can look, actually he can go all the way up. That's part of the transformation, but he can look up a pretty good amount. And of course the head can do full 360 there. The waist, again, full rotation, so that's really cool if that's your thing. This guy it's pretty poseable, and he's got hip skirts here on the side, the front and the back. So again, when you need to put him in different poses, you'd get these out of the way and move the legs accordingly. So you guys can see there, you can kick all the way to the side. You can kind of turn this all the way around, and he can kick essentially forward that much, I would say. And then the knees on mine are pretty stiff, which is, I guess, a good thing, but they do feel pretty stiff, at least most than others. But there you go, almost, well, fully 90 degrees. And then right here on the ankles, you do get ankle articulation, which moves that much. You can't start taking this apart, but that's, again, part of the transformation. Look a little ugly if you do decide that, but that's as much as you can get it, which I think is plenty when you're kind of trying to pose this guy. Again, some detailing here on the legs, part of the car, the black windows, some of the lights, the back here, pretty on point. I do love the way this guy cleans up. So not really any hollowness. You guys can see here's the doors for the vehicle mode. Everything's kind of tucked in place really nice. Nothing gets in the way of anything. So, you know, he fills out pretty well. So again, from a posability standpoint, if you're going to display these guys in some kind of action pose, this guy it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So one of the things to note is when you do get this guy in the box, he's going to come in robot mode. And there were a couple of things that I needed to, that, you know, if you do get this guy in the box, you need to make sure that you do, just to have him looking properly, or at least how he's supposed to look. Obviously, it's your toy. You could do with it as you wish. But in the box, when you get this guy, these panels here with the wheels are going to be facing forward, which technically is incorrect. You can leave them like that, but essentially you would just turn them around so they're facing the correct way. Also, the back here was really loose. So initially I was like, oh man, this guy doesn't clean up well. He had this part was sticking out a bit, but that's because this didn't come attached or transformed properly. One of the things to note is, at least when I got my figure, is these two plastic pieces here, these two long ones, they were essentially down. So as part of the transformation, this piece here goes down. So when I got my figure and I took him out of the box, he was essentially like this. And you know, I was kind of like, oh man, like the torso doesn't tab in correctly. You know, everything doesn't want to sit in place. So it kind of looked like this. And I was like, oh man, I mean, it looks nice, but then you have this huge gap here. So after reading the instructions further, one of the things you need to ensure so that this guy is more stable is to make sure that these two things here that I'm pulling out kind of go tabbed in to the side panel here, and just make sure it sits like that. And then same thing here on this side, you would pull this out, make sure it sits like that. That will give you all the stability you need. So just make sure that's one thing you kind of do. You also make sure that you get this guy tabbed in correctly, because there are tabs there. And then of course these sections here, this particular panel for me was kind of hanging down like this, and then he was sitting like that. This is not the correct way. These panels in robot mode should essentially be sitting pretty much straight up and down like this. And then you're going to then get this sort of to fit in there. So like that. And you can always open this front portion and just straighten these. Make sure it's like that. And so essentially the front bumper should sit something like that. So then that way this section in the back can go tabbed in correctly, and then you tab in the front. And once you have all that done, you're pretty much left with a very solid Streetwise. So just something to keep in mind when you get this guy. If he feels a little bit fiddly, or the chest and the arms kind of don't sit in the right place, then it may be worthwhile to ensure that all these things back here are clipped in correctly. But overall, I am very happy with this robot mode. He fits in really well with first aid. Now I'm really looking forward to getting all the other ones. As far as transformation, I will try and take you through that right now, and where to start. So let's start off with the hands here, essentially the arms. First thing to make sure, and actually this is one of the things that kind of bothers me about this figure, is this panel here, which is part of the transformation. Whenever you move the arm here, it tends to move up and down. So sometimes it gets in the way when you want to do stuff like this. You have to hold it. It's nothing too big, but just something to keep in mind. Like if you're messing with this guy, see, like right now the panel gets in the way. It's nothing too big, just a bit of a nitpick. So transformation wise though, this is where we'll start. And essentially you're going to take this. There's a little panel here, like a handle. You pull that out. Once you do that, you fold this in half here, essentially like that. Then you're going to take the hands and make sure that they're folded up, and just make sure they're turned this way, right? And then you're going to take this panel and push it all the way up like that, and then fold the hand in. The hand here should go open, so these 4 fingers should all be open like that, so it sits in the cavity of the forearm like that. And then with this panel folded, you can close that. And essentially that's pretty much it for the arms, at least for this section. The other thing that you can start to do is, if you want, turn these this way so that they sit like that. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Essentially pull this panel, fold that this way, take the hands and make sure that they're facing that way, take this panel, push it up, and then you're just going to take all that and tuck that into the forearm. Once you do that, make sure the hands, are extended out, and then you take this, and then you're good to go here. And then we're gonna take these panels and rotate them forward, and just for now leave the hands up like this. The other thing is here on the head, you're just going to turn the head fully around, and then you're gonna make him essentially look up like this. So once you do that, we'll move on to the this front panel. Essentially you're just going to pull this out from the bottom, and then also right here at the top you're going to separate. There's some tabs here, you're going to separate that, and then this is where the siren portion of the roof is at. So we're going to pull this out forward, and we're going to try and get this to tab into these sections here. And there you go. This part, essentially the light bar, you're going to swivel it. You can swivel it. It's going to swivel like this. You turn it around so that it sort of stays in the middle at that point. Once you're here, the last part to do is this section here of the lower torso. You're going to fold that in And then by this point, you start to see the windshield, but we'll leave it like this for now. The next thing to do is essentially here is the back portion. So we're gonna pull this panel out from the top and then also untab it here from the bottom. And then the next thing to do is we're gonna push this in. The head here comes off to give you a bit more room. So essentially we're gonna pull this out to give us a bit more room there so that it looks somewhat like that. And then the next thing to do is here, this panel, which is a front bumper, we're gonna fold it in so that it joins together like that, the two halves. And then we're gonna flip it and you're gonna sort of have it together like that so that it looks like the front of the car. Leave it alone for now. The next thing to do is essentially all here, and this is the parts that I showed earlier. This is how the torso kind of stays in place and stays together. So first thing to do is that you can fold these panels essentially here, this way, and at the same time just turn the hands up like this so that they look like that. Same thing on this side. And do the same thing. We're gonna pull this and flip the hand so they look like that. And then take these two sections here and before we do this, something to keep in mind is if you fold these down now, when you go to turn this around, they can sometimes get in the way for me, but you can do that now. So essentially just fold these down. And then the chest was essentially like this. You're going to turn around. So once you have that done, you should be good as far as the torso here. So the next thing to do is we're going to put this whole head back thing in place like that. Have it clicked in. And then here comes some of the magic. Is essentially there's another joint here where these two things are going to fold down like this. And they're going to, essentially, you're going to fold them, then you fold the arms in. And all of that tabs in. There are tabs here that tab into this section here of the body. So you should be good. So essentially, you're going to be left with something that looks like this. Head's facing this way. And then the next thing to do is you're going to notice here there's sections here and here that are going to go tabbed in here and here, and then same thing, these sections here go tabbed in there. So you're going to take this, fold this forward, push that in and get it to click. Just be really easy with it. It is plastic after all. The instructions then do tell you to fold this down and sort of join it. This tends to move, it tends to move as I transform this guy for me, but you can do that. And as you guys can see there, you have pretty much the front of the car. Next thing is the back. So you're going to turn the legs around so that essentially they're facing that way so that he looks like this. And I think this is for me where a lot of the cool engineering is in these legs. I think they did such an awesome job with making sure that all the panels are sort of well hidden and it doesn't look like there's really much of a gap or anything. So next thing to do is you're going to take these legs and you're going to fold these panels out. So like this, you're going to fold them out. You're going to take this and you're going to fold it in. There's a section here that goes in like that. Next thing to do is, and this is pretty cool, you're going to pull this out like that. You're going to fold this in. This is the front of the foot now. All right, you're going to leave it like that for now. And then here's a door. You're going to slowly pull it out, essentially. This folds out, and you're going to pull it out like that. Just be really easy because it seems a bit delicate, so I would just be really careful. But essentially, you're going to fold this in. And there's a gap there. I don't know if you guys could see it there where my finger's at, where this is going to fit in place. And then the next thing to do is, since these are the doors, you're going to take these mirrors that were down like this, and you're just going to fold them out. Right? Now that you have all this out, you can then take this foot, fold it in, and then fold that back in. I found it pretty cool how they did all that, so that's nice. The other thing to do here is now the legs are going to fold in here. This leg portion, the upper portion, is going to fold into the shins. Before you do that, just slightly pull on the knee here out to free it. And then you're going to make sure these skirts are all closed in. And you're just going to fold this in this way. Right? And as I said, just make sure that the skirts are all closed in because they can get in the way. And essentially, you're just going to make sure that that fits in sort of like that. For now, you can leave it loose. The door itself, you can start to fold in, try to get it in place, but I would leave it loose for now. Because now we need to do the same thing to this leg. Again, you're going to take this panel, open it, leave it out to the side. This bottom portion, just fold it in. It should sit in like that. At this point, you can pull out the front of the leg here, pull it out, take this, leave it like this for now. Here's the magic trick with the door again. You're going to pull this out and slightly like this. Just be really careful. As you guys can see, this slides into that gap. And then make sure you pull this mirror section up this way. Cool. So now you can take this, again, fold this all the way in, and then fold it back. That way it's closed. You're gonna fold, you're gonna pull this out, and then you're gonna fold the knees in. Again, making sure that, make sure this is straight, and make sure that all the side skirts don't get in the way. So once you pull this out, you're gonna, again, get this into place, and we're gonna try to get it to fit in there as best as we can. You guys can see, and there are tabs to join these two together. So we'll leave that loose for now. Again, you can start folding in the doors, but let's leave them like that, because then what I like to do here is, again, make sure these side skirts are in. The instructions sort of tell you to fold these in, and these two sides are going to fit in there. So I like to leave it a bit loose for now so that it's easier to fold everything in place. And you will see that there are tabs. So this back section should go tabbed into each side here. And these parts kind of go there, right? And at this point, if these two things, the spoiler essentially, which is the knees, you're just gonna push them down and push them in. And now you can just start to clean up the doors. You kind of tab them in, same thing here. You're gonna take the doors, tab them in, and then just lower this whole section in place. And then you are done. I believe this is a Nissan 300 ZX. It's some kind of Nissan. At least I get the sense that it is. Obviously, this is not licensed. But my understanding is that I believe Streetwise was some kind of Nissan. Pretty similar to, I guess, the Z cars, the 240, 280, which I believe Prowl and Smokescreen and Blue Streak were. So similar to those. If you have those, then this is pretty much very similar to that. It's very similar in size. Obviously, this is the later 300 ZX, which was after those 240 and 280 C cars. As far as the transformation, as you guys saw, I liked it. I liked some of the magic with the legs and the chest. And I like everything tabs in, no issue, at least on my copy. Nothing too crazy as far as big, huge gaps. Everything kind of just sits in place as it should. So, yeah, I mean, I'd give them props for this. And he does sort of roll. If that's your thing, you want to roll your cars around. He rolls very freely. Some detailing here on the side is the star and then the black stripe. It's well done. Again, he can come off a bit plain, but I don't mind it. Again, this is cartoon, based on a cartoon, which was, those designs were pretty plain. There wasn't a lot of detail. But what's there, it's really well done. It's really cool. It cleans up well. Here's the back that I still need to mess around with. the exhaust and the lights. This is definitely very 300CX inspired. Yeah, cool little air piece, air duct, or whatever you want to call it, air scoop. The headlights here are painted gray. Would have been nice, I guess, if it was clear plastic, but then again, maybe not. Clear plastic has a tendency to sort of want to break. But the bottom lights here, the markers are really well done. So yeah, looks really, really cool. Looks really well apart. I think if you're gonna keep this in vehicle mode, it's great. Great, great, great. Thumbs up there to MMC on this transformation and on this vehicle mode. Looks really, really nice. Okay, guys, so as we close the video here, definitely very happy with Streetwise here. MMC, I think, continues to do a great job with these all-in-one combiners or third-party transformers. Specifically, this one being part of the Protectobots, as I said. He looks really well with even official Masterpiece toys, which I will show you in a second. He's very poseable. Perhaps a bit plain looking, but I think it fits the character really well. But I think the way MMC sort of makes sure that he's not too gappy, there's not a lot of gaps. Things just fit in just right. Everything kind of tabs in. I love how clean the back just sort of looks. And yeah, and he's got it all there, man. He's very poseable. The looks are really great. You got 2 extra heads. You get his gun. Of course, this guy does transform into he's going to be a foot essentially for Defensor. I'll go over that eventually once I get all of these are released. I'll go over the different modes. But then as far as the individual robot himself, I like it. I think it's a great addition to my collection. So I'm pretty happy with the job MMC's done here with Streetwise. As far as some comparisons, here he is next to Soundwave. Sorry, yep, Shockwave, not Soundwave. So just want to show you there how this guy looks standing next to him. Obviously, he is much smaller, which I think fits in really well within my the scale in my brain. Anyway, there you go. As far as another Decepticon here he is next to an official Masterpiece Starscream. This is a newer version. Again, the gray is a little bit similar, actually. On Starscream is a little darker. But again, just want to show what that looks like with official Decepticons there. So we'll move that out of the way. Here he is with some Autobots. So here he is next to Red Alert. Again, another official figure here. And here he is next to Prowl. So he is a bit bigger than Prowl, but again, I think that works for the scale in my brain specifically. So there you go. We'll move Prowl out of the way and we'll put him Ratchet. Again, smaller than Ratchet there, but again, I think that works in really well, and he blends in really well with all these official Masterpiece toys. And then here he is next to the man, the myth, the legend, Optimus Prime. Again, there he's on a pose there, but you guys could see him. I think that looks pretty awesome. Again, I think it fits in really well there together. So I'll move Prime out of the way for a second. And then the last one is, of course, with his mate. Here he is next to First Aid. And specifically, these two guys complement each other really well. I think they look great together. I can't wait to get Blades and Hotspot and Groove, I believe is the bicycle, that the motorcycle rather, not bicycle. I think that's going to be very interesting how they get the whole big motorcycle thing that turns into a leg. But these two look awesome together. Specifically Navigant, or Streetwise as I'm going to call him, looks apart. He looks awesome. Everything tabs in. No issues. I'm going to get him some Autobot insignias to make him a bit more official. So I'll do the same thing with this guy. But you guys could see them there together. They look the part. I think they look awesome. So in closing, if you're interested in that, I would recommend it. I got mine via Big Bad Toy Store. So and I think I'm caught up as far as these third-party Protectobots. I don't believe they've released. They have announced other ones. I think Hotspot specifically, but they haven't released them, or I don't think they've even mentioned a release date. I'm hoping we'll get at least 2 more this year. But as you guys can see, these MMC guys, I think, are doing a great job in giving us third-party combiner robots that fit in really well with all these other official products. So kudos to them. Please hurry up and release all the other ones. As far as this guy, he's awesome. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for hanging in there. I really appreciate it. If I missed anything, you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, maybe watch one of my other videos. But thank you so much for spending your very valuable time with me. I hope that wherever you're at, you're having an awesome time. You're having a great day. And if you're not, perhaps the next day will be better. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.